Claire is working at her father's hotel, while she aspires to manage live events. Her famous ex, Ryan, who is part of a feuding band, returns to their hometown and helps her achieve her dreams. Claire happily greets all guests at the inn on the Lake Hotel in Tahoe. Miss Jennings asks if she can use her reward points for a ticket to the Christmas Eve variety show. Claire knows how unreasonable she is, so she directs her towards their assistant manager, Jackson. Her father, Tim, who owns the hotel, has just received the report for the last quarter. With all the activities like golf tournaments and conferences, they're on track for their best year yet. Claire thinks their sold-out variety show is also a huge part of this progress. She assures him that she's on track to finish all her tasks. Tim hopes that Claire can focus on their core business, along with preparations for the variety show. She meets Jackson outside, but gets a call from Andre Hudson at Emperor Resorts Entertainment. He is impressed that she got the hottest pop star, Ashley Burns, to perform at her show. He wants her to manage their events in Vegas and plans to fly out to watch her show next week. Claire loves the idea of a formal offer from them and promises to book a room for him. Since Emperor Resorts is the ideal place for live entertainment, Claire is working harder on the variety show to prove her worth. Joining them is her dream come true, but Jackson knows it'll be hard to leave her family hotel. Even if she's good at managing difficult people at the hotel and organizing conferences, live entertainment is her dream. She knows that Tim doesn't support entertainment too much, which is why she doesn't want to discuss this job with him till it's final. After 6 years, a famous band called Wild Lynx is back in town. They're taking a break before the next leg of their tour in January. During an interview, there's a clear tension between the guitarist, Ryan, and lead singer, Alistair. When Claire notices the band's meet and greet, she hides nearby. Ryan also tries to hide from the fans and ends up at the same spot. They're meeting for the first time after their breakup years ago. He has heard all about her Christmas Eve show and how well she is doing. Claire seems bitter as she taunts him about being responsible for a change in her career plans. Claire knows that her mother, Dorothy, deliberately hid that Ryan was back in town. Dorothy is best friends with Ryan's mother, Joyce, and wants them to get back together. She wants Claire to attend Joyce and Archie's granddaughter, Gabby's, choir singing. Ryan also knows Joyce is plotting something with Dorothy. His breakup with Claire was quite messy, but Joyce blames him for it. Dorothy asks Claire to forget the past too. Claire hears from Ashley's agent Lance that she needs a vocal cord surgery. So close to Christmas, he can't find a replacement. As Claire tries to process that she lost her biggest celebrity, the other acts in her variety show also cancel because of Ashley. When Tim learns about this issue, he suggests booking Kevin Timbers for the show. Claire knows that he's not relevant and asks Tim to give her a few more days. Claire arrives for Gabby's show and ends up sitting next to Ryan. Gabby's performance reminds her of what Ryan did on stage when he was young. Ryan offers help since he has heard about Ashley canceling. Claire assures him that she has things in control, but she clearly doesn't. All artists are booked for the holidays or are spending time with their families. Jackson thinks Ryan's band should perform, but Claire doesn't want to since they fired her as their manager many years ago. When she considers her lack of options, she realizes Ryan is her only choice. She stops by Ryan's place when he's out for a run. When Ryan gets back, she takes him out for a walk. He remembers coming to the wishing tree with her last time. They had both wished for Wild Lynx to make it big that time. Claire gets to the point and asks if his band can perform at her show. Ryan explains that the band isn't getting along because he and Alistair aren't on talking terms. He wonders why the show is such a big deal, so she informs him about the offer from Emperor Resorts. After Ryan's band fired her, she realized that her real passion was putting on live events. He offers to make some calls for her as his Christmas present. A while later, he shares that an acrobat group from San Francisco, Fleur du Ciel, is available. She asks if he's interested in a solo performance, and remembers him being a great songwriter. Ryan shares that he's having issues with Alistair because of his songs. He wants to write more and cut back on the never-ending tours. Alistair thinks Ryan will hurt their progress by doing that. Claire remembers the time he sang Christmas Island for her, and she believed it will be a big hit. While scrolling, Ryan finds that the comedian, Ricky Page, is vacationing in Tahoe. Her manager rejects Claire, but Ryan thinks they should approach Ricky directly. He speaks to Jackson in code and explains that they're trying to be room service interlopers to get access to Ricky's hotel room. Jackson sets them up with a concierge service so they can bring fries and champagne to Ricky's room. Ricky is in a horrible mood because she just got dumped. Claire discusses how she got dumped in a similar way by a lead guitarist in a band. She rants about how after firing her as their manager, they signed a label at a showcase she booked. Claire then explains how she got over the breakup by throwing herself into her work. She suggests Ricky should also get back and make people laugh. When Ricky thanks Claire for being a great server, she admits who she is. Ricky even recognizes Ryan and is curious to know their story. She agrees to do a segment at Claire's show, after which she just needs 2 more acts. Ryan apologizes for what happened between them 6 years ago. He and the band thought it was a good move to sign a more established manager at the time. He feels bad that they couldn't separate business from their personal life, and admits that he was naive. Claire thinks it worked out for the best, because the band became a huge success. The break from them also made her realize that instead of managing rock stars' egos, she prefers organizing live events. They decide to bury the hatchet and discuss the gifts for their elephant party. When she gets back home, Dorothy is glad that Ryan helped her with Ricky. Tim is concerned about the other sets for her show, but Claire assures him she will handle it. She knows that Tim thinks of variety shows as something they do on the side, but clarifies how important they are to her. Tim wants to organize them more often for her, but feels like the hotel is doing fine without it. Jackson asks Claire about Ryan, and is glad that she thinks they can be friends again. He asks to take the night off, so Claire teases him going on a date. Around that time, Ryan runs into Alistair outside a rehearsal room. Ryan tries to talk about how burnt out he is with the constant touring. Alistair still feels like he's quitting the band, and reminds him of the commitment they made. At the elephant party, Claire and Ryan's families all open their presents from each other. Claire informs Ryan that the deal with Fleur du Ciel is almost confirmed. She thanks him for connecting them, and hopes to get one more signing for the headline act. As they walk down memory lane, Ryan shares what happened when he bumped into Alistair that day. He is worried about leaving the band and focusing on writing. He's worried that it might be a mistake, but Claire encourages him to try it out. Archie surprises Joyce with 2 tickets for the Infamous concert the next day. Claire wants to book them for her final set when she learns that they're headed to a secret charity event. While Ryan plans how to gain entry, Joyce tries to make him look good in front of Claire. They all know she's trying to set them up when she points out that they're both single. When they get off the car, Joyce asks Ryan to make sure he gets an autograph. Ryan asks Claire to follow his lead and just gives his name at the backstage to gain entry. Claire tries to approach the group, but Dean, their manager, stops her. He refuses to let her talk to them, but she plays her ex-manager card. She explains that she was Ryan's manager and somehow convinces Dean to give her a chance because it's Christmas. Claire explains to the a cappella group that her family owns the inn on the lake. They're headed home for Christmas, but Claire makes them understand how important their rendition of Silent Night is to people. She brags about the perfect North Pole atmosphere in Tahoe during Christmas. When she offers to fly out their families so they can watch them perform, they agree to do the show for her. During the show, Ryan is impressed with how easy it is for Claire to convince anyone. He noticed how passionate she sounded about the Tahoe Inn, and seems sure she will get the Vegas job easily. After the performance, Marissa from Infamous announces that they'll be performing at the inn on the lake. She also makes a special shout-out to Joyce on Ryan's request. Tim learns that Kevin was in a ski accident, and is proud that Claire booked all the artists on time. The next day, while preparing for the variety show, Claire hears Ryan rehearsing with the piano. She comes over and invites him for their hotel's annual Christmas gala that night. Claire turns up at Alistair's door and clarifies that Ryan doesn't know about it. She still cares about Wild Lynx and wishes things weren't so strained. Alistair is frustrated that Ryan is ditching them, but Claire asks him to consider that people and things change over time. She claims to understand what Alistair is feeling, but asks him to be open to possibilities. Before she leaves, Alistair also apologizes for how things ended with them when she was their manager. Claire accidentally catches Jackson singing beautifully. He has already done a few open mics. He admits it happened all the times she thought he was going on a date. After he split up with Dawn, he focused his energy on performing. She convinces him to play for their Christmas Eve show because she thinks he's very talented. When Ryan turns up at the Christmas gala, Tim is worried about the arrangements. Ryan ends up dancing with Miss Jennings, who also asks to use her reward points for his concert. Tim raises a toast to Claire for her hard work. He hopes they achieve great things together in the coming years. Claire tears up when she realizes she needs to tell her dad the truth. Jackson dances with her and knows that Tim will not stop her from achieving her dreams. Claire agrees that he should know soon, and promises to tell Tim about her possible job the next day. Ryan takes her out for some air and discusses how much he misses the place. He plans to shift back home to Tahoe and focus on his writing. He knows it's a risk, but hopes Alistair will understand. Claire hopes he makes it work, and they kiss after admitting that they missed each other. They're interrupted by a notification, from which she learns that Fleur du Ciel can't do the show. After yet another cancellation that week, Claire still thinks it all might work out. She wants to go ahead with the lineup and hopes that Emperor Resorts appreciates what she did in less than a week. Ryan calls her to meet near the wishing tree. Since her wish never came true, he has written down another one so she gets her dream job in Vegas. He has spoken to Alistair and offers to do her variety show with Wild Lynx. Alistair has agreed to let Ryan tour with them just for the first part till they find a replacement. After that, he'll step back and ride in Tahoe and go back to tour whenever he wants. Ryan seems concerned when Claire doesn't look happy about impressing her future employers. Claire is now confused because the last few days have reminded her how great her home is. Ryan knows what it's like to live out his dream and wants the same thing for her. When Andre checks into the hotel, Tim spots him. They start praising Claire and discuss the upcoming variety show. Tim understands that he's planning to hire Claire and decides to find her. Claire feels terrible about not mentioning the offer to Tim before. Tim is just surprised to learn that she doesn't want to work with him anymore. Claire explains that live entertainment has always been her passion. She reminds him that she was managing a band before this. Tim clarifies that he just wanted them to have this discussion before he envisioned her future with him at the hotel. Claire asks Otis about what she should do in this situation. He asks her to think about who's going to be with her when she makes the choice. On the day of the variety show, Claire finds Jackson and Ryan discussing something. Ryan asks Claire to take a break for a minute to take in everything she has achieved in a week. Tim opens the show by announcing a performance by Jackson for the annual Christmas Eve show. After that, Ricky performs a Christmas special stand-up comedy set about Santa Claus. Ryan dedicates a song to Claire, which he sings with Jackson. They close with a performance by Infamous. After the show, Ricky asks Claire for Jackson's details, since she's interested. Jackson gets some new gigs and thanks Claire for pushing him out of his comfort zone. Tim feels proud of everything Claire has achieved. He has had a change of heart and wants to convert the place into a regular live entertainment operation with her help. He promises to let her have whatever she needs for it. Andre also comes by to compliment Claire and offers her the job in Vegas. Ryan overhears this part and waits for her outside. He assumes she accepted it, but Claire clarifies that she turned it down. Even if Vegas would be a great experience, she wants to stay with her family. With encouragement from Tim, she knows she can come up with great acts all year round. She's even imagining her future in this hotel. They admit that they primarily want to stay back because of each other and kiss.